air， 你能听得见吗？
是，我可以听见，很清楚。
太好了，好。Okay, so this seems to be working. So if I stop the broadcast, then we'll see that this should show up as a documented feed.
Yeah, so on my screen it says live. It means that it's being recorded, I think.
Correct. So when we first got on, we weren't being recorded, and then I clicked a button to say start broadcast, and I could also click a button to stop broadcast.
Yes.
So the very beginning of our conversation didn't get recorded, but then when we started pretending, 郭老师你好, 郭老师你好, then that's when it started.
Okay.
But one thing I did before I connected is I tried to start a Hangout over time, to start at 11:50 a.m. And it didn't start on its own. So I don't understand why the function doesn't work correctly. So I think and there's a couple weird things as well. Each time I start a Hangout, I add names I want to invite, but then it gives me another window saying add people to it. So I added you twice.
Yeah.
And then the second time is when you seem to have gotten on. And it doesn't allow me to continue the Google Hangout until I invite you a second time, which is the weird part of the feature.
I was thinking the first invitation is for people to see it, to watch it, because you can set like if it's for public or for certain people. And then
I see. Okay.
one is to inviting people to join this call.
Okay, then maybe that's what I've been misunderstanding. You have to have the videos public, and that's the only thing that's challenging about this. That's if students are making videos, we want them to send us the link and to find a ways that we can delete it so that other people aren't necessarily looking at them, although I can't imagine anyone would find it. But it's more of a safety issue over the long term.
Right. So the first part, we have to choose public in order to record.
Correct.
That's why I wasn't able to record.
Okay.
Yeah, so if it's an issue, then I think that using the tool I suggested before is probably a safer option, because they can save it in their computer instead of sharing a link.
Sure.
But I think that we should be able to delete. We should be able to delete the videos. I think I did before.
No, we can delete videos. It's just a matter of reminding the students to delete their videos after that we've checked the link.
Yes. Oh, they have to. Yes, I mean they have to delete it themselves.
Correct.
Yeah.
So when I've made other videos with you and with other students, and I've immediately gone and deleted them, so there's no record of that anymore.
Right.
But the point of this is that if someone is broadcasting something and then he or she wants to broadcast it over a period of time, then it's always available online.
Yeah. So there are a few things I want to check with you.
Yep.
So I think that the routine I will do with students when I meet them online is, well, first of all, I will check in with them about any questions they have, and then I want them to do a sharing talk. Each person will talk for like a minute or two, because I think it's a good opportunity for them to talk. And I will list some suggested topics, because some of them don't know what to talk about. But they can do like a current issue, like we're having a drought here, or they can talk about their school life or their student life or social media, something they saw that's interesting. But the point is that they have to talk for a minute without stopping. I want them to be able to continue speaking fluently and on a subject that is has some depth to it, not just chit-chatting,
Okay.
And then I think that there's I went over some words with students, and I think that one of the student, Maxwell, he's very fluent, but when I went over the words, I think that he can benefit from a lot of the words. So meaning that if he knows how to use words and encourage to use new vocabulary, he can benefit a lot. So I think I will focus on going through words that I think is important, that it's very practical and useful. They use in daily life, such as like 崇拜, 仔细, 无忧无虑. These are like very common words, and so I go over words So this week I created a Google Doc. I will share it on Haiku, and
Okay.
so we pick some words from our word list from the chapter 1, and then I
Mm-hmm.
went over the vocab and then I have them make sentence on the Google Doc. So
Okay.
I think I want to spend at least 20 minutes of the time on the new words to use them for like some questions and answer. Like I will this time, for example, use 无忧无虑. I will ask them 你觉得什么时候什么时
That's, I
候
heard that you're coming in.
can you hear?
Okay, now I can hear again. So there was a little bit I didn't hear.
Okay. So I asked them 什么时候是你觉得最无忧无虑的时候? You know, topics like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the remaining time, I will want to do some discussion relating to the chapter. So like, well, this week we didn't go too far because I want them to share what they wrote for their homework and make sure that they
Okay.
did it okay. But in the future, if time permits, I will come up with some discussion question, maybe 3, and they can pick one and they can talk about what they think.
Okay.
What do you?
I have two questions for you before we go further.
Okay.
Number one, did you feel like that the material was too easy, too hard, or just right for the majority of the students?
I think it's just right for this
Okay.
group of students.
Okay.
They are able to read through the text and they understand. And then this is probably something they're familiar with. So I don't see any comprehension issues.
And
But
Harrison did okay as well?
huh?
Did he do okay as well?
Harrison did okay.
Okay.
Yeah, he was able to follow. I think everyone
Okay.
was able to follow, and it might be a little difference in terms of their output, like when they answer or they contribute some thoughts, the length of their sentences. But I think they are able to understand, and sometimes I'm not sure if I tend to call him last so he will know what we're doing. But it doesn't seem like he has issue. He will even tell me that he got it, he can start. So he seemed okay.
Okay. And then the next question is, did you feel like that the students need a lot of practice with these new words, or is it just a matter of prompting them to use them more actively in their speech?
They need to be encouraged.
Okay.
Yeah, and then sometimes they will use it improperly, Maxwell was trying to say, 我要裂开一个蛋。我做早餐的时候，我要裂开一个蛋，and it's not right. So like things like that need a little like information on the words. So yeah.
This is actually the challenge of advanced level Chinese, because actually Zhao Yuanren once said something to the effect of like 中文语法不难，用词是最难的. And it's a matter of teaching people how to use words correctly at this level. So I think you're going to find that that's going to be the challenge.
Yeah, it is.
So then my last question is, the homework that I designed was for them to answer questions, but trying to use the vocabulary and their answers. Do you feel like that was sufficient practice, or do we need to have another approach?
I like that, actually. I think it's great. And I liked it that there's a combination of doing homework, using computer, and using the traditional handwriting and share with us.
Good. Okay.
So I really like that homework.
Okay, good.
And another thing is that I find that they don't look at my video, my greeting video. And I was thinking, I saw that you can comment on my, let me do screen share. I see that you can comment on, I think they can also comment on it. So what do you think if I ask them after they see this, they come and say, I watched it?
Perfect. Yeah, in fact, that's something I'm doing with our 4th grade, that I give them videos to watch on Edmodo, and then I ask them to, when they've done it, to say, I've watched it, just as a confirmation.
Yeah.
And then you can also say that if you have additional questions, they can also use that comment feature to ask questions back to you.
Right. Okay.
Perfect.
And then
Okay, so I'll make it.
maybe they have the same questions. Their questions can be answered.
Sure, sure.
And I changed a little bit of the layout. I made the right side a little bigger, so that they can see the checklist. And
I can't see it right now, but
oh, okay.
hold
Well,
on. Oh, there we go. Oh, I see what you did. Yeah, that's actually a different format. There's two formats that if you like that better, that's fine. There's one that's equal sides or one with a larger side and a narrower side. So if you prefer that format, I'm perfectly fine with it.
yeah, I just think it's easier to without scrolling down, they can see the checklist.
Yep. Okay.
And also, and then also the calendar feature is really useful because it actually gives them reminder like, oh, something is due.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
That's that's a good reminder for me because I'm so used to doing the Gantt charts that I forget to look at the calendar feature even though I know it's there. So I'm going to remind myself to double check the calendar when I add more things later this week.
well, actually, I think once we set a due date, it automatically goes there.
I know it's there, but it's useful for me to look at as well, just so I can compare and contrast when I'm doing the Gantt chart. So.
Right. Can you see my chart, my calendar now?
I can, yes. I just had a black screen for 1 second.
So actually Maxwell suggested it because their school use haiku as well.
Okay.
So he said he was asking whether we can put our assignment up to the calendar because it's like a reminder. They actually get like I don't know how, but they got message like my 高考单元 was published this week, and someone already saw the reminder that you're supposed to watch the video, and someone already watched it because I didn't change it yet.
Okay.
Just let us know that it's actually helpful, but because it pop out some kind of notification, so when they come in, they know what they're supposed to do.
Okay, that's great. I've actually given myself a little star on my notepad to double check the calendar each time I go in. So I will start doing that. It's not something that I've done habitually beforehand.
Yeah, but I don't think you need to do much. Just
right. It's just a matter of making sure that things are listed as assignments. So, for example, I have some of the documents is simply going into read this, but I haven't made it an assignment per se, so it won't show in the calendar that way. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if I create an assignment for that, saying download the document and read this for whatever day, then that'll show up in the calendar. That's what I need to remind myself to do.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And do you think we should start grading their work?
Absolutely. Actually, I had one other question too, and I haven't had a chance to double check since I got back last night. Did Harrison complete his video that he didn't do?
He said he sent to me, but I didn't receive. I don't know where he sent to. So when I talked to him on Monday, I said I still didn't receive it. So he's like, oh, let me send it to you right now. But after the class, I still didn't see it. So I don't know it's probably like maybe we should actually set up a time to meet with him individually to see what's the issue. Because is it technology issue or something?
Or he might just be making an excuse. And just so you know, he's a really good kid, but he's not the strongest student. And I know from Tom Alsher that he would often make excuses like this last year. So we really need to be on top of him to follow through on things.
Okay. So what would be a better way can we, this emailing is kind of frustrating. You're waiting for a response. Is there
I'm wondering if we want to share, would it be cumbersome to share the Dropbox with them and they can just simply add it to the Dropbox?
For him?
For him or for other students, that for whatever reason they have problems uploading things, we can say, okay, you can just add it to the Dropbox and that's easy.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
do they use Dropbox? Like, is it common for them?
I don't. You know, I don't know if case students have used Dropbox regularly, but I think if we create a Dropbox that they just simply have to just put it into, then that's an easy solution for them to say, I can't figure out how to do it or whatever. But I do realize that there have been some times in Haiku where students don't get the hand in button and they say, I don't see what's happened. And then they go back in again. It's like, oh, I see it. And then they're able to add it. So that it genuinely could be a problem that he wasn't able to do it correctly.
Yeah. How about we create a Google Drive? Because since everyone's on Google, it's probably a little easier. They don't have to log in and log out.
Okay.
I can create a folder and then share with everybody. And then if there's any issue, they can always hand in their work on.
Okay. Do you want to take care of that then?
Yeah, I can do that. But I was thinking, can they drop a video there?
That I'm not sure, because I have actually tried using Google Drive to save large documents, and it said that I wasn't able to. So that's why I was suggesting Dropbox might be better. But the videos may not be that large that it would be a problem.
Yeah, let me try it and see if I can. File upload.
I'm going to try as well. I just really saved some things to share with someone else in China via Dropbox. So let me see if I can get that to work. Oh, that's the wrong window. Go back to Dropbox.
Oh, yeah, you can. I just did.
You did? Okay. So if you want to create that and then we'll just send him a note, or if you can send him a note saying, we still need your video, so here, if you can't upload it onto the Haiku, here's a link to the Dropbox that you can just simply drop it there.
Okay. And I can also share the folder on Haiku.
You can put it on the Haiku as well, of course.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else you want to check with me?
That's all I can think of right now. I may have other things as I start changing the site for next week. So if we need to touch base again, are you available on Friday at all?
Friday morning, I think.
Okay, let me look at my schedule really quickly.
From 10 to 2. Afternoon from 10 to 2.
I'm sure I have time in some time around there. I've got a duty at some point, but give me one moment. Oh, I can't see it right now because I'm in my other accounts. I'll have to look once I log back into my case accounts. But I know that I have time at some point then. So once I get offline, I'll check my calendar again and then send you an invitation or a confirmation about what time.
Yeah, okay. Just send me an email.
Okay, sounds good.
Oh, and then are we gonna do some quiz at some point?
That's right. I do want to do a quiz, but I wanted to check too about what number one, if you felt like that they had enough practice with those words, and what I can do is focus on the words that I put in the first homework. So I can give them an instruction to say, please review over this vocabulary, and we'll have a quiz for you. That I think what we should do is give it to them to complete after their class on whatever day next week, and then they can print it out, fill it out, and then just scan it and send it back in. And we'll do this with a pledge feature where they say, I pledge I have had no extra help or have used any other outside sources to complete this homework, and see how that works.
Is that the homework, the practice, the vocabulary practice? It's like a filling blank?
There is a filling blank one that I haven't added yet because I have to revise a few things. But what I did give them was a sheet with just a bunch of sample sentences just to practice their reading a little bit and to give them more input about how to use the words.
So this is it's like a review sheet, right? The 重点词.
重点词汇和例句 is what I called it.
Right. That's the one you're talking about, right?
Correct. But I do have another document that I have to finish where they do some practice with some more fill in the blanks.
Okay. And that's for practice. Is that a review exercise?
It's a review exercise, yes. So, but it's more focusing on vocabulary as opposed to doing 问题回答, for example, with giving them more discrete answers.
And what's the format of the quiz?
I was thinking of just giving them a few sentences in Chinese and with an underlined word saying, please identify this pinyin and translate to English. And then a few 造句. I give them the characters, or I give them the pinyin, for example, and ask them to write the correct word with a sentence of at least 10 or 12 characters or thereabouts, using it correctly. Do you have any other thoughts about that?
No, I mean, it's a quiz just to check if they.
It's just a check-in, yeah.
Yeah.
But if you have other ideas about how we want to test them, please let me know. But I think for this first time, I want to give them something not too difficult, so it won't feel like, oh my God, this is so hard, and I'll need to cheat and that sort of thing. Just something just to double check that they've been doing their work.
Have you heard of Quizlet?
I've used Quizlet, sure.
But you used it before?
I've used it mostly for student practice, though. I haven't actually used it for giving quizzes to my students.
Yeah, but it looks like you have to pay to use it.
There are, well, I think if you want to use it as a form of assessment, you have to pay. But you can create sets of flashcards where students can review things, and then there's actually games they can play to practice to make the practice more fun. Right.
Well, do you think it's something worth spending time on for our course?
I certainly can put together a word list that way. So, and that's easy to do. So why don't I do this? With the 重点词汇, for the first column, I can create one Quizlet, and from the second column, I can create another Quizlet, and that might be something for that we can actually have more a more complex or a more systematic way of testing them in a vocabulary other than quizzes later on.
Yeah, because I think they might be more motivated if it's something besides a sheet.
Okay.
That's my thinking, because since it's an online course and teacher is not always there and they are looking at a piece of paper.
Okay.
Less motivated as opposed to some apps they can actually play with.
There's another app which I like a lot called Cram, C-R-A-M, and it's similar to Quizlet, but it has some games that I think are a lot more fun than Quizlet. So I may actually experiment with Cram instead of Quizlet and actually see if there's any other tests on there that you don't have to pay for. I haven't used it in about a year or so, but that's another good source.
It's flashcards, right?
It creates flashcards, but I'm not sure if there's quizzes that you can check on. What it does have is has a game that's similar to Bejeweled, that they can test themselves on it and then do a screen save to show what their score was. And it might be just a fun thing to say, play the game using this vocabulary, and then take a screenshot of your score, and we can award a prize or a shout out to the person who sent it the highest score.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds like fun.
Okay.
So, all right. So, in case student asks next time I see them, should I tell them when this quiz will be happening?
Well, why don't do you think that if I put together a cram set of flashcards for them with a game and ask them to do that over the weekend, that we can give them a short quiz after class on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week? Do you think that's okay?
You mean when they're in my class?
Yes.
Yeah.
So not in the class, but after class, say that please go and work on this.
Work on the quiz?
Yes.
And when are they? When's the time they are supposed to send in?
So they would need to send it in by like the next day or so, that they could go to school and do a scan of what they printed out and send in the quiz. And it would take about 10 minutes or so plus whatever time to scan.
Yeah, you know what? I was thinking maybe I can leave. I can leave the class. I can end the class like 5-10 minutes early, and they can take the quiz. Oh no, that's not. I just want.
Or that's another way to do it as well, that we have the quiz document, and that you just simply share it with them at the last 5 minutes of class and ask them on a sheet of paper to write their answers. So they're looking at the screen with the questions, so they're not able to preview the document beforehand.
Yeah.
Does that sound okay?
Yeah, it sounds good. So I only share it during our meeting.
Correct.
When they complete it. It should take like 5 minutes, right?
Exactly. It's just a quiz. We don't want this to be a long test or anything.
Yeah. So they write down the answer and take a picture.
And take a picture or whatever. Yeah, that would actually be a way of doing it too. I forgot that people can take pictures.
And then email to me or something.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Well, let's try that next week, and I'll leave a note on the haiku that they'll need to prepare for this for next class.
Okay. Right. Okay. So let's check in again. Next.
On Friday, and I'll let you know what time in just a moment after I switch accounts.
Oh, and also I just remember Maxwell was wondering if is there any way that they can use their friends and email for our haiku class so they don't have to log in and out, because he said that they have to log out their school account on haiku and then log in with the Google account to see our haiku class.
Well, I guess what I could is I could send them an invite to their Branson emails and then create a new student for them that way.
Okay.
And given that we haven't done any grading, that might be a way of doing it.
Yeah. And then
okay, so
if we delete, maybe we can delete their other emails so it's not confusing to us.
Yep. So I'll make a note of that as well. Actually, I'll have some time this afternoon. I have to go to the middle school at 1 o'clock, but after I meet with some teachers there, I can maybe work on both the cram game as well as fixing the Branson emails later this afternoon.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So
okay.
On Friday.
Yep. So I will email you within like 5 minutes after I just check accounts to see what time I have available.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
I'll talk to you on Friday.
Okay. Thanks so much.
Okay. Bye.
Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.